Hello, my name is Vince Romo. I want to thank you for tuning in today. What this show is about, it's about barrio lifestyle, about being raised in the barrio, being from the barrio, the do's and the don'ts, the what's and the where's, the who's in the house. Welcome to Barrio Driven.
Today I'm with Frank Hernandez, who was born and raised in Eagle Rock, California. Carnal, gracias for being here today. Before we get started, would you like to give the audience a brief introduction of yourself?
Yeah, Frank Hernandez, 45 years old, born 1978, aka commitment soldier, the unity maker, advocate for recovery. Bottom line is just, I'm here with Vince Romo today to potentially just tell a story and make a difference.
Thank you, Carnal. Thank you for being a part of Barrio Driven. We are honored to have you here. Thank you for sitting in the hot seat. Not everybody wants to sit there. That's what we call it, because we hit you heavy. We believe that we hit our guests heavier than any other podcast out there. You ready?
I'm ready.
Frank, tell me about your childhood.
Well, like I said, I was born 1978. My mother was 15 when she was pregnant. She's 16 when she had me. There was no father in the picture. We lived with her mother, which is my grandmother. I can, because I was told the story from my grandmother many times. When I came out, doctor wasn't in the room, and my grandmother basically delivered me, and my umbilical cord was wrapped around my neck. And my grandmother, to give you a little bit of backstory on my grandmother, she was, not only was she the other half of my heart, because she was so loving and caring, but she was, as I got older and I got to find out more about her younger years, she was a Queen Bee bartender in Eagle Rock. She was promiscuous. She had a lot of bearing on the relationship with my mother that I didn't find out about until later on, throughout the years. It's one of those things when you grow up, right, and you start being able to understand, who's who. Things have changed, so grandma was a little bit older by the time I got to know who she was. She was older, she was done with her, heydays and stuff like that. So in my eyes, she was the Queen Bee.
Yeah,
she loving, caring. I just remember at a young age, because she had a house it's called Four Corners, right, Verdugo and York, and it was the Glassell Park side. And it's interesting because I do construction, right?
Yeah.
So growing up, her house was so comforting. It was clean. It had all the amenities, but she had a tri-level backyard. Okay, so the tri-level backyard, she had chickens, geese, dog, turtles, rabbits. I mean, you name it.
Yeah.
But the amount of animals she had, that was her thing. That was her daily get down. So she kept it organized, clean, and that was just, I remember little, going to the feed store. Little Frankie would carry all the bags of feed. I was always that helpful. Yeah. Hey, you take care of me. You love me, Grandma. I got you. You know what I mean? See, because at the end of the day, the thing I'll never forget is that regardless of how my mom was 16 when she had me, there was no dad. Living with grandmother, regardless of how her past was, there was still that love.
Of course. And you knew nothing about her past as
right.
She was, so yeah.
So you're being cared for, you're loved, you're being fed, and you're being taken care of, and you're showing I was shown the good side of life, and so I was very helpful, it's a little tough kid, always I can carry it, grandma, I got it, don't worry, and it was always uphill and stuff like that, but just I was always very helpful when it came to grandmother.
Very helpful when it came.
But she taught. I owe it to my grandmother that she taught me. She was very snub-nosed about manners.
Right on.
And how you treat women.
Yes.
And stuff like that.
What did she teach you?
Just that you treat women right. You give them respect.
That's right.
You don't put your hands on them whatsoever.
That's right.
But I'll just, like, if we want to start off, I can dial it back to the first trauma that entered in my life. At a certain point, I was about 4 years old, and my mother had moved out and got her own place, and she got her own place in Cypress Park in a back house, and the front house was vacant. And at this time, my mom's bartender, she's starting to bartend, she's about 20.
Okay.
And a car pulls up in the front and honks. So, 4-year-old Frankie, 20-year-old mom walk out to the front, and the car drives off. And as we were walking back, a man grabs my mom, and he sexually assaults her. And I run in the house, and back then it was those old school box beds that the bed would roll up into the box.
Yes.
So I remember running in there. I didn't know what was happening. I just knew something was wrong, and she told me to go, and I ran in there, and I remember scared, and I rolled myself up into that bed.
While you were rolled up, like, were you hearing her scream? Were you hearing her?
No.
So you just knew to run.
No. After years later, talking to her, and and be honest with you, just recent last couple of years, we got into the nitty gritty of that night and what had happened, and she said that an Hispanic male reeked of alcohol, pulled her, put a knife to her throat.
Wow.
Told her to shut the fuck up, or he killed her and me.
And you.
And did his thing. And I want to tell you that was the first thing that ever had happened to me where, because little kid, you listen.
Yeah.
You hide, the adults talk, and you stand behind a door or whatever it is. And at 4 years old, I didn't comprehend rape.
Yeah.
But at some point, I don't know if it was 6 or 7, whatever it was, when I could comprehend when I finally figured out what rape was,
What did that do to you?
I took it to heart.
Of course.
I took it to heart, and I was very, very fucking hard on myself. Because I took it as I ran. I took it as I ran. I didn't protect her.
Yeah.
I didn't stand up for her. I almost got on myself that I was a coward because I, rolled myself up into that bed. Yeah. And I held that with me, and I held that burden. And again, all I know is that it just made me more protective over women.
Yeah. Yeah.
More protective about people, altogether. At that point, I've always had a heart. I've always had a heart. Thank God I was instilled some of these principles and these things that we're supposed to be taught by our the adults in our
Yeah.
life.
Yes.
So it just added to the exterior of the boy that I was becoming.
At even, and we're gonna get there. I'm just gonna ask a question, but don't, we're gonna get to we go through everyone's life here, that's
Yeah.
what this show is about. At your age now, do you still carry that guilt? Because, you were 4 years old, Karnal. Do you still carry like, man, I should have protected my mom. I should have did something. Because you're a child, Karnal. But do you still carry that?
No, the thing is a big part of my recovery. Okay, so I'll just touch on it real quick. I used and abused for well over 20 years, and right now I have 6 years, 4 months clean and sober.
Congratulations.
And one of the biggest benefits of working a program of recovery, you learn to go back in time, look over things, properly assess things, and properly resituate things, and get to understand truly what things were and the dynamics of everything, so you can have acceptance, so you can get to closure.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be weighted down by stuff like that. Because, let's maturely, right?
Of course.
4 years old.
Of course.
What was I supposed to do?
Karnal? Exactly.
How could I have helped her?
Yeah, exactly. So, you're 4 years old. Your mom has just been sexually assaulted by a man that put a knife to a coward. We won't even call him a man, a coward.
Right.
That put a knife to your mom's neck. What happens after that? What happens to young Frank after that? I don't know if you're 4 or 5 years old, 6 years old. How is life going for young Frank at that point?
I want to say it was I also remember at that house that there was stray cats and kittens around, and I remember that I would the cat would have a little litter of kittens, and I would throw the little kittens up in the air and try to catch them, and sometimes I wouldn't catch them, and I never got off on fucking the cat up or anything like that, but I know it wasn't normal.
So, you're 4, 5, 6 years old, and you're killing these cats. As we said, you're not doing it on purpose, but you're definitely dealing with some anger issues.
There's a reason why I remember that.
What's the reason?
It's just, I don't know. I even blow my mom away, because at this point in my life, I can't remember something 2 days ago, but I've been able to describe that house from top to bottom, the garage. I blow her away how I can tell her how everything was, and I was so little. That's what trips her out, is 4 years old. How do I remember that? How do I remember everything?
What memories do you have from that house, Karnal, besides the kittens and what happened to your mom?
Just the layout of the house, how it was, how the garage looked exactly, it was kind of ran down, I can remember, the arch here, the open way there, the bench there, you know what I mean? I can describe it all to my mother, and it blows her away. How can I remember all that?
Describe your life living in that house.
That's the thing about it. I can't. I can only pinpoint the time that happened to my mother, and I can only remember what the place looks like and the cats.
Wow.
Other than that, I couldn't tell you what a normal day was. I couldn't tell you anything other than that. I could tell you though what happened to me when it came to my mother after that. Within those next couple of years, I just got very, very close to my mother as far as that's my mom.
Yeah. That's your mom.
Didn't like her with nobody. She tells me that, her first real relationship with a man named Danny, she was gonna potentially marry him, and I was completely against it, to the point where one day he was driving and I reached from behind and covered his eyes.
And you're a kid.
And I'm a kid.
Wow.
And honestly, it's like, because I have grandfather. I have my grandfather, Robert Hernandez. I have my uncle, Bobby Hernandez, and I have me. We're the three boys, Hernandez. And Uncle Bobby's an alcoholic from young age. He's lives a pretty wild life, motherfucker should be a cat, because he's like damn near killed himself, 6 times. I mean, to the point where flipping cars, hanging off the side of a bridge,
Wow.
barely making it. I think sometimes he's only making it because he's so fucking shit-faced, that it's because he's so, so shit-faced and drunk that anytime he's gotten into an accident, he's just kind of rolled with it. He's kind of he's so...
Made it out. Yeah. Wow.
Because you know how they say, like, if you're
under the
drunk,
drunk, yeah, exactly.
you just kind of ball around and roll the post 2 tensing up.
Yeah.
You
do.
So he's wild. My grandfather was, he was always the charismatic meat delivery guy, that, womanizer,
Yeah.
typical, alcoholic, running, here, there, making ends meet, holding down the house, but had all the extras, you know what I mean?
And this is where you come from.
And this is where I come from. This is, growing up, so we're getting to where, my first traumatic issue and the feelings it carried. And keep in mind, I don't even know any of this until I get later on in life to look back at that.
Yeah.
So at this point, all I can tell you is here I am, just a, see, to me, I thought I was just a normal boy. I'd say I'm a normal boy, living life, did okay in school, still liked school, got along with, didn't have no problems at school at that age.
Yeah.
But then we start getting into 8 years old. And now my grandfather's with another woman, and she has some sons, and they're young. They're from the Venice area. One's from the neighborhood. Yeah. And that's when I'm getting introduced to now the homies.
The homies.
And it's funny to give little 8-year-old Frankie a sip of the beer.
Yeah.
That's
how it starts.
It's funny to, like, hey, take Frankie with you if you want to go out. Take Frank with you.
And you're 8 years old.
And I'm 8. Wow. So now I'm rolling around with a car full of homies from Venice. And, it's hey, you're young. You can touch that girl's boobs, eh?
Yeah.
You can, they always tell you you're cute. You can do this, you can do that. First time I seen something violent, was we're rolling around and a bike, and, a Harley and this old lady, and there goes, my tío whistling at the girl, and the dude ain't having it.
Yeah. So
one thing turns into another. My tío Johnny, he jumps off and he books the dude.
Yeah.
And then one of the homies, they take Frankie and, run and go over there, take Frankie out of the picture. But, you start to see shit.
Yeah.
You start to realize.
What happened to you when you saw your tío doing this?
It's so left field. It's so new. You're just absorbing it. You don't really know which way is what. You haven't experienced that yet.
Yeah.
That's your first time.
First time seeing something.
You really don't even, you're not even quite understanding exactly what's happening other than the fact that something bad and this is, but it was adrenaline.
Yeah.
It was adrenaline. I remember I wasn't too scared. You know what I'm saying? And again, it's you're getting taken care of. You know what I mean? You got a couple of homeboys, scooping you up, taking you this way, looking right over you, watching out for you. So there's a layer of protection.
Yeah.
And you're, I don't even know if it's acclimation at that point. It's just what it is at that point.
Yeah. Did you feel it was right? Did you feel it was wrong? Or did you, at that age?
No, I don't think there was any right or wrong at that point. I think it was just what it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it was just what it was. And because you gotta, because at that point though, as you're getting 6, 7, 8, you're roughhousing a lot.
Yeah.
You're getting fucked with a lot.
Yeah.
You're getting smacked, you're getting played, and I was always that little boy that I was probably always really hypersensitive, and I always would get really upset, and I'd never stop. The more you fucked with me, I was gonna get you.
Yeah.
You wear me out, I'll wait till you're kicking back and sitting down. I'm gonna come from the side and clobber you.
Yeah.
We ain't really, busting no grapes at that age, but we're gonna get you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And so, and little do we know, we're basically just training.
Yeah.
It's little youngster training for what's coming up next.
And that's where we're molded. Our kids, or kids at that age, that's where they're actually, their character, the person that they're gonna be in life, that's when they're molded. And that's the truth. So you're 8, 9 years old now. Tell me, you're during that time, you could be 10, 11, however, what's the thing that really you think drags you into the lifestyle that you went down? Come on. And how much were you hanging with the homies? Were you hanging with them a lot? What were you seeing? Were you seeing drug abuse? Were you seeing, violence besides that one time? Or what is 8, 9, 10-year-old Frank Hernandez witnessing at that time, and who was he around?
It's just, I'm seeing, a lot of drinking, a lot of smoking weed. At that point, I can't register if anything else was. I don't know if someone's shermed out. I don't know if someone's, on anything else. So at that point, it's just, you're getting acclimated to seeing people drunk, drinking, smoking weed, little parties, the homies, the homegirls, in little doses. You're not full-fledged kicking it yet, but you're dipping here, you're dipping there. It's not until 10 years old, my mom meets my stepfather. And that's, again, I still have mommy issues. That's my mom, but this is like, see, and I'm going back and forth from the west side to my aunt, uncle's house, to back with my mom. My mom was going through her things in life, her little bout of addiction, alcoholism.
So we're like different people taking care of you at that time? One night here, 1 week over here, 1 day over here.
Yeah.
So you're traveling.
I'm going back and forth from Venice to Glassell Park. Then we got a spot in Glendale. See, my mom always tried to do the best she could. So moving to Glendale. So that's, I just want to say that's first grade. Wow, see, I don't know, whatever age that is, first grade, moves to Glendale. We have a little dance studio on Glen Oaks. Yeah. But where the school was up in the hills. So it was high-end, little rich kids, more wealthier kids. So the thing about a parent doing the best, my mom doing the best she could, which was great. But the flip side of that was us being as poor as we were.
Were you poor as a child?
It was a single mom. Yeah, cause like I can go back to I can go back to when the liquor store right down from the studio. I can go there, buy her a pack of cigarettes for $1.10 with a note if she wrote me a little note. Yeah. And then there was a 7-Eleven up the street, and I remember some of the best dinners we had was 2 hot dogs and some fucking brownie that we used to buy from 7-Eleven. Yeah. And I used to go hop on my little bike and go grab the hot dogs and some brownies, and me and mom would grub, Yeah. But at that time, I remember that mom was, I think mom was, she was in her active, whatever her addiction was, and her alcoholism, and some of the highlights was when she'd have those all-night card games, and they were probably doing blow, and one particular couple would stay out the night, and in the morning they'd make chorizo and eggs, and and me, I'm just thinking, again, it's just the way life is.
It's just how life is.
That's just what it is, and the highlights of that is those burritos in the morning. You know what I'm saying?
You mentioned your stepfather, and that you were possessive with your mom. So how was it so your mom got remarried, or would she just barely got with him?
At 10, she just got with him, and he was,
How did he treat you?
He tried to like parent me, like he tried to, discipline me. Cause I bucked against the grain a lot. I had a mouth of my own. And he tried to discipline me, and I remember it just it didn't go well.
Yeah.
It didn't go well at all at the beginning, and at that point we live in Glendale by the Griffith Park, and there this little fucking ran down apartment building that used to be a hotel back in the day, and it was 80 units, and they had horse stables in the back. They called the Paula Apartments, and I remember he just was like clean the fucking house, do the dishes, I'll pay you, never pay, but keep him he was an individual that was still trying to get his shit together. But so we're like, I remember he'd worked at this oxygen place, and he'd have me wash the trucks, and he'd fill up the whole cab with water, and he smoked weed, and this is 10, 11 years old. Yeah. He'd give me the bag of weed, and I'd de-seed it.
Wow.
And that was part of the program. Yeah. So it was real interesting dynamic. Discipline, structure, do this, do that, but then how you don't realize at that age that you letting me de-seed your fucking dirt weed was part of the program. You know what I mean?
And at that time, did you even realize what you were doing, or you just were like, oh, I guess this is normal, right?
Again, I'd seen so much smoking. I knew what weed was. Yeah. That's just what people do. So I'm still innocent at that point.
Yeah.
I'm still little Frankie just fucking de-seeding some fucking weed.
Tell me when you start losing your innocence, Gernard. At what age was that? And how did you lose your innocence?
I want to say at some point a year later or so, I ran away.
You ran away from home?
I ran away from home.
Where did you go?
I ran away from home. I think I just made it to my grandma's house. I went to my grandma's house, and the thing was I had to turn myself in. If I really didn't want to go back to, from what they understood at that point, if I really didn't want to go back home, I had to go to the police station and tell them I don't want to live there. Like, I don't want to, and this is why. So I did that, and they sent me to some boys' home in Highland Park.
Why didn't you want to live at home? What was going on?
I was just so angry. I was just so angry at the way things were, like being in this household, being having to listen to this fucking guy that I felt wasn't in my best interest, wasn't mature enough, even at my age, wasn't mature enough to tell me what the fuck to do. That he was one way or another, he wasn't a good person.
Did your mom and him ever fight about you?
Oh yeah. It was definitely an issue, a thing. You know, yeah, it was always something.
Something about you. It's about
But you gotta understand, everybody's dysfunctional. See, that's
Of
the thing. I
course.
look back, everybody's fucking dysfunctional.
Yeah.
He's fucking dysfunctional. My mom's just barely trying to get right, get her life together. He's fucking still doing blow, alcoholic to a certain extent. Because I mean, think about how twisted is fucking letting a 10, 11-year-old
yeah.
fucking deceive the weed.
Of
You know
course.
what I mean? Even as silly as that is, it's not silly.
Yeah, I mean, you're being conformed to go down a bad path. By what you've already seen with your deal, by what you've already seen with your stepfather, you're dealing with things. What happened to your mom at 4 years old?
Yeah.
So you're already being programmed, ¿sabes qué?
So I get to this, I get to this boy's home, because this is the process.
Yeah.
This is the process to potentially get to live with my grandmother. So I go there. I'm fucking 11. I'm like 11, 12 maybe at this point. And I'm the youngest kid in this boy's home.
Yeah.
And we're walking down Figueroa, like probably a mile walk to these meetings. And these are dudes from all different neighborhoods.
Yeah.
2 dudes from Florence, guy from 8th Street, 38.
Yeah.
3 paisas, white dude, little Frankie. and we're walking through Highland Park in the fucking 90s. And you're dead smack avenues, Highland Park. And you're walking with this fucking motley crew of homies.
Yeah.
And you're getting hit up 3-4 times just to get to a council meeting or an AA meeting or NA meeting. I remember I remember those walks were not so comfortable.
Yeah, of course not.
Cause you got motherfuckers rolling up, hitting these dudes up. You know, I'm just watching this shit, and there's no comfortability to all this.
Of course.
You know, all of a sudden this is like the first time me being out on my own, and I'm look how young I am, and I haven't developed into the little soldier or anything yet.
Yeah. Were you scared at that time?
You know what scared me? Is I get back to the fucking pad one day. So I get back to the pad, and I would talk to the 2 homeboys from Florence, right? And I came down one day, and one of the paisa dudes was on the couch, full-fledged, dick out, jacking off.
Fuck.
And as I came down and kind of bumped into it,
Yeah.
he did some like remark at me, like some gesture at me.
Yeah.
And that scared me. I went right back up and I told the dudes from Florence, hey, fuck all this. This is what I just ran into. This, that, and the other. Fuck all that. You know what I mean? I need you guys' help. You know what I mean? You know, I'm letting you know what time it is. And then I remember I called my grandmother, and I was like, fuck, I don't want to be here no more.
Yeah.
Fuck this. And they set something up. They set it up to where, hey, do you know how to get out of there? If I set up a ride down the street, can you make it out? And by I don't remember if it was that same night or by the next night.
Yeah.
You know, the 2 homies helped me get out of there. I ran up the street late night, jumped in a car, and they took me to Palmdale to a friend's house. And they got me situated. And they got it situated to where now I'm ghost. Now I'm just like,
gone.
my mom doesn't know where I'm at. My grandmother knows where I'm at, and it was kind of like a move. You know, we're gonna play a position. My grandma's.
Yeah.
So I called my mother at a certain point and was like, look, I just want to go live with my grandmother. I don't want to live with you no more. Yeah. Or else I'm not coming back or whatever. And my mom, fuck it, she agreed to it.
She agreed to it.
And I moved to grandma's house. So this is where this is where now things are gonna start to change.
So you're 11 years old, and you basically have guidance as the street now. Because even though your grandmother knows where she's at, you're not in her home, right?
We're right now, we just made it out of the boys' home.
Yeah.
To the parking lot, got swooped up by a family friend, and now we're in Acton or Palmdale or some shit like that. And we're gonna lay low there for a week or two, and then we're gonna make the call. We're gonna make the call of go to grandma's, or I'm not, or you're not gonna know where I'm at.
Yeah.
And we made that call, and here I am. Now I make it to grandma's house.
Okay.
Okay. So grandma's house. Now I can start pinpointing it. 7th grade now. Eagle Rock High School. Grandma's house. Everything's back on the up and up. Fresh pants, fresh shirt, BKs, getting decent grades, going to school, bumping Zap in my grandma's Silverado. She drove a big Silverado barefoot, dropped me to school like that. My aunt, then my Aunt Noelle, my grandma's daughter, which is my mom's sister, is only 3 years older than me. So she's always been like, she's more like a sister to me than an aunt. Yeah. So we're going to school, hanging in there, doing okay grades, everything's on the up and up. I even get a job at 31 Flavors in Eagle Rock Plaza at 13 years old. I'm 13 now, 7th grade. Everything's good.
Yeah.
But I'm starting to smoke weed at school. I'm starting to get introduced to acid. The girls so it's my aunt and then her couple friends at Baskin Robbins that we work together, and I'm getting them high on acid at work. You know what I mean?
So you're getting them high.
Yeah, I'm giving them the acid. And
where'd you get the acid from?
From school, So, and then again, at that time, it's just...
You're just barely starting.
You're just 7th grade. You're just filling out high school, and that's a junior, senior high. Yeah. I've always been a chubby little kid. Yeah. You're kind of thinning out. Trip out on this. I always had brown eyes.
Yeah.
Something happened in 7th grade. My eyes start to lighten up. Yeah. So now I'm getting a little attention from girls.
Yeah.
You're trying to, you're dialing in your style. You know what I mean? You're dialing in your walk.
Yeah.
You're dialing in your crowd of friends, and we're just testing the waters in a few different ways, right?
Yeah.
And what happens is my grandma gets sick, and my aunt gets in trouble, which is the baby of the house. My aunt is the golden child, and she gets into some shit, and then my step grandfather, my grandmother's new husband, he had 2 sons, and one of his sons thought he was doing a good deed and told my grandma, when all this was going down, he tells my grandma, hey, Frankie's smoking weed. And fucking, she sits me down and goes, hey, you gotta go.
Wow.
You gotta go. That you just, between this and that, I can't do it. It's too much. You gotta go back home. You see where this is going?
Let me see. So your aunt got in trouble. What kind of trouble did she get in?
I think it was a stolen car or something.
Stolen car. So she gets in trouble. So it had nothing to do with you.
Right.
For GTA. Your grandmother's sick. And he decides to tell your grandmother you're smoking weed. And she's kicking you out the house.
Yeah, I could back it up a little bit, because like my aunt, she would date homeboys, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She was attracted to the homie, and, there was a point throughout this, living there, go out with my aunt, and, we'd end up in some part of LA up in the hills, and we'd be kicking it with a few vatos from Drifters. And I remember smoking my first P-Dog.
Yeah.
Again, thought it was a joint.
And
I hit it, fucking loved it. That's the point of this part. Is like, smoked my first P-Dog, and when I smoked it, I remember give me another one.
you loved it.
Let me hit that
Wow.
shit again. It was game on.
It was
Game on. And my aunt was fucking tripping out because, this is her little nephew.
Yeah.
And how just easily and how naturally I, smoke, try something new,
And you were like, man, you
came
wanted
on
more.
it. And the homies were like, damn, your little nephew's a trip.
He's
on it.
trip.
You know
He's
what I
on
mean?
it. Yeah.
Cool little stilo, all that, you know what I mean? And so I guess, we could say that, if we really look at it, again, on the like being this age, maturely looking back at shit like that, we could say, other things were going on and bad decisions were being made, and you play, you pay. And
Of course.
unfortunately, things swayed in a way where too much at one time, and my grandmother had to say,
You had to go.
you had to go.
Wow.
So here I go. My mom, stepdad they're doing better now. They live in a house in Eagle Rock, right on Yosemite and Eagle Rock Boulevard, right across from the Eagle Theater. And they go to the church right next door. They're bettering themselves. The thing is, they have a guy, Brad, from the church,
Okay.
that they're helping out, that stays on the couch.
Oh, man.
So when I move back, I'm fucking heartbroken. I'm angry,
Of course. You didn't want to go back home.
and here we go though, But it's one of those things where the direction I was going already, dibbling and dabbling with this, what I've already been through.
Yeah.
This was just a ball of anger, and
What happened with Brad?
So we get there. I pull up. I get situated, and then Brad, I find out real quickly he smokes weed, and I'm like, all right, this might work out, And these are the days where all it was where are you gonna smoke your next joint? When you gonna meet the next hyena?
Yeah.
When you gonna get the next hookup? You know what I mean? Where's the next little party at? Whatever. But real quickly, I find out that he has a crack habit.
Oh,
So he gets money once a month from his father, and when he get his lump sum, he would go down. He had this lady drop off crack to him.
and he's staying in your mom's house
And he's
because
staying in
they're,
my
they're
mom's-
going to church and
Yeah.
they're thinking they're doing something good.
Good for him.
Okay.
So here's little Frankie coming back. Already smokes weed, likes P-Dogs. Fucking right when he introduced me to crack cocaine, it was more P-Dogs.
Yeah.
And now we're getting high on crack, P-Dogs and shit like that, and now we're now I'm going to school, but now it's game on. Now I remember within within less than 3 months of living back with mom, got a little chip on my shoulder. I'm going to school. I'm hanging around with a couple fellas. I remember after school one day, bump into this dude, I don't know, whatever, second, third period, eyeballing the shit out of him. After school, I remember I barely looked over and I caught like the last of his head going down the steps. But all it took was me to look at him those 2 seconds where he turned around. And it's after school. And he turns around and we confront each other and
It's all.
no, he broke my nose in 2 seconds.
Oh,
He ended up being my homie. He hit my homie quick, but he wasn't my homie at the time.
Yeah.
And he was older than me. I told you it was a junior, senior high. So he was a few years older. And he was just a body. He was, one word and he just, wow.
Yeah.
And I got my nose broke and I remember I was leaking and now that had a big impact, so once that happened, anger, never gonna fucking talk shit, never gonna get my nose broke again, never gonna be the one that gets the
short
end of the stick.
Yeah.
Fuck this hurts, this doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
I like my face. Getting it re-snapped fucking wasn't cool.
Yeah.
The bandage on the whole thing of it
Yeah.
wasn't cool. Didn't like it. Wasn't gonna be on the bottom end of nothing anymore. Now just that much, just added that much aggression to me.
To you, yeah.
And then staying there, getting more involved with the crack, with the P dogs, and then Crystal came. Crystal came at a very quickly around that time. So we're dabbling with Crystal, and again something else that I like.
Yeah.
It clicks.
And how old are you at this time?
About 13. Now we're 13, 14.
So you're 13, 14 years old. You've done acid. You've done PCP.
Yeah, I've done
You've done. You say coke as well?
Coke. Yeah, we do
Coke.
Cocoa Puffs.
Yeah.
You're learning everything.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
knowing what
And
a
you're
Cocoa
doing-
Puff
yeah.
is,
You're doing crack.
Yeah.
Man, Hernandez, you're 13 years old. 13, 14 years old.
But the thing was like, some of us have a knack for it. You pick things up and it's like you've done it before.
Yeah.
It was the thing to do. I remember just like, even at that point, it was still $1.28, $1.29 King Cobra 40,
Yeah.
right? And it would get me fucked up, 140. You're just training at that point. You're just
Exactly.
That's all you're doing.
Exactly.
You're training. You're learning different drugs. You're learning how to use them. You're learning what your tolerance is. You're learning what you like, what you don't like. For instance, because I never liked PCP.
Yeah.
I didn't like being stuck.
Yeah.
I felt like it was like you get zapped with Raid.
Yeah.
That's what PCP was to me.
At that age, how many drugs do you think that you had tried?
By 14, I had tried almost coke, speed, PCP, angel dust. Don't forget about angel dust. Weed, acid, shrooms at that point. 7?
Wow. At 13, 14 years old.
Yeah.
That's a lot, Hernandez. Especially at that age. I never really dabbled in the drugs. I would smoke lovelies, weed. That's about it.
But
I did acid one time, and I was cool with it.
You know what it did though? It made me forget I was living back with my mom. It got me through those days. It got me through whatever feelings that was creating.
Yeah.
It was making me part of, because all the fellas that I kicked it with.
Yeah.
Because my house was at the epicenter of the group of friends that I had.
Yeah.
So, fit in.
Who were your friends, Gunnar?
They were from a crew called FOE.
Yeah.
You know, and they like 22 of us lived within a quarter-mile radius. You know, so
You guys all got high? You guys all pretty
we all
much?
partied. You know, no, that's what it was on a daily. You know, and when you get that many heads. You know, something was always there. You know, somebody always had this or had that. And at that time, it was a lot of stealing cars. You know what I mean? There was a lot of Honda Accords and Civics on the daily.
How old were you when you stole your first car?
13.
13 years old.
13. 13 was the first year I even got busted for joyriding.
Tell me about that first experience when you stole your first car. And how did it make you feel?
It was 4 blocks from the house. You know, I was curious. Hey, you know, you guys keep getting these rides. You know, what's up with that?
Yeah.
You're ever gonna show me? You know, and it's me and 2 of the homies, and they're like, hey, you know, there's this car up the block. We're gonna show you whatever. You know, it's a spark plug. It was a spark plug shot out of the window. A 7-pound dent puller with the 4-inch screw. Didn't pull the ignition out, and then a screwdriver. And at the end of the day, them fools, my boys can get into a car a minute.
Yeah.
You know, and they showed me. I crashed it 2 blocks. I got in the car. I did it. Got in the car. Crashed it 2 blocks. You know, I was buzzed.
Yeah.
You know, I even though I'm saying I did all these things, at this point I'm not. I couldn't handle everything all the time. You know, I was inebriated. If I drank the 40, I was fucked up. If I was crossfaded, drinking and smoking, you know, I was not in my right mind. I wasn't. I'm just learning all this shit. Even though I'm learning quickly and I'm doing it so-called right, and I'm getting advanced pretty quick. It was nothing like when I get into my older teens.
Yeah, we're gonna get there.
You know, so.
So, 13, 14 years old, you're stealing cars, you're doing pretty much every narcotic that you could think of. How did you get the money to get these?
I had the connections. So if I had all the plugs, I knew where to get everything. It was like, hey, I can get you whatever you need.
So you were slanging basically.
But you kicked me down a little.
Oh really?
But then I'd go up and I could pinch a little bit. You know, I could pinch a little bit plus you hook up a little bit. You know, and do that multiple times a day.
Wow.
You know, or you steal a car and there's something in the car and you sell it.
Yeah.
And you go sell it. Or Brad. I started beating up all the time. I said, fuck him. I'd fuck his ass up.
Yeah.
You know, so like beat him up for $30. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Stupid shit.
So, what's the most amount of drugs you think you did at that time?
Well, there'd all be a group of us. So like, you know, I can remember we'd have an ounce of weed. 2 8-balls of coke, and like that. And then we'd rock, 4 hours, 5 hours, 7 hours later, it's all gone.
It's all gone.
You know.
Wow,
But again, we're signing up for this shit.
Yeah.
This is what it is. Think about what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get jumped into a fucking neighborhood that I don't even belong in. That I don't even know.
Yeah,
How fucked off is that?
Was because you didn't know better, because now you're young. You know, when we're young and we're in that mindset, we're not, I was talking with the camarada of mine the other day, and he was like, Holmes, he got into a barrio like 13 years, man. If I would have known if someone would have taught me, Holmes, or told me something better, I would have never gotten in the neighborhood. But then that's the thing is, I'm too young to make these decisions. And these decisions, the choices that we make, they stay with us for life, Garnan, at such a young age. You didn't know that by starting at 13, 14 years old, that, hey, if I'm going to try this drug, I'm going to try that drug, I'm going to try this drug.
Right.
You didn't know that it was going to haunt you your entire life.
Right.
You never knew that.
Right.
But if someone would have came to you and said, mijo, check this out. This is what this does to you. This is what's going to happen to you if you do this.
Right.
I'm sure you wouldn't have made that choice, that decision to take that drug, to get high, because you would have saw better. But nobody teaches us.
No.
Nobody teaches us.
No.
That's the point of this show, Karna. And people watch it like, damn. So continue, Karna. You're over here and you're like, damn, you're in a barrio. You don't even know where you're at.
And so the time passes, I make it out of it. You know,
How'd you get out of there?
Enough time had gone. I didn't see him passing around no more. Coast was clear. Got my bearings, ran back to the pad. Thank God, you know. And let me back up though. A week or two prior to this, I had wrote my Theo Johnny from Venice. He's up in Jamestown, and I wrote him a letter. Hey, I'm gonna get into this neighborhood. They're gonna call me this. It's going down. Woo woo. You know, hit up the neighborhood. And when I so pause that. When I made it out of that situation and I made it back home, there was a letter waiting for me from my Uncle Johnny, and he dissed me every which way.
Wow.
He fucking, oh, you're gonna be from this. He dissed it. I thought you were just gonna be a fat little motherfucker your whole life. Oh, now you're just gonna waste your life. Oh, you're just gonna be a fucking lob. You're gonna throw your life down the drain, you know. And it's.
How did that letter make you
great.
feel?
No, it broke my fucking heart, because you gotta understand, this is the fucking my Theo that instilled the homie life in me.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for him, none of this would have been attractive. He set the attraction at a young age for me. You know, I wrote him the letter because I thought he'd be proud. But see, we just never know what's what, you know. So here he is doing time. Has more of a clear head. He's probably hating life. He's probably regretting. He's probably learning some shit. He's going through his, you know, he's maturing in one way or another. He gives a fuck about me. He loves me. He doesn't want to hear this. He loves my mother. He's gonna shoot a letter back stating all this, and it's to hurt my feelings, to potentially stop me, to maybe right my potential wrong that I'm about to do. You know, and he wrote a follow-up letter, like right after, and I received the second one, and he's like, look, you can be anything you want to be. You can be that G, you can be that solid soldier, you can be this, you can be that down bottle, you can do all that. You can still be all that without the neighborhood. Matter of fact, you can move more. You won't be committed to anybody, you won't be nobody's fucking property, you know? So just choose, and I love you, you know, so choose wisely. So that whole little thing, the mixture of being, you know, realizing what was I fucking doing, trying to get into a neighborhood I wasn't born in, this, that, and the other, being scared shitless by getting dumped on, and, you know, being in that parking lot, plus the understanding of the, what he had said about, hey, you can, you know, don't do this because, you know, you can still be whatever. And so that whole neighborhood shit went out the window.
Out the door.
There it was for me.
And it's crazy because the person that attracted you to that lifestyle is the same person that said, hey, mijo, check this out. I'm torcido right now. I'm locked up.
Yeah.
If you go down this road, if you do this, so that's pretty heavy, you know?
That's it.
That's pretty heavy because he showed you, let's just be real, he showed you bad and he showed you good.
No, so then now it's do more drugs, get more in the mix with whatever's going on, your little homies and shit, and you're, you know, you're still in the cars and you're partying all the time and you're getting better at using, and so now 15. So 15, I'm getting a little too I'm getting way loaded. I'm staying away. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. Things are getting a little bit much, and my mom says, we're moving. We're gonna move. We're gonna go to Santa Clarita, where your grandfather and his wife live, and we're gonna go live out there. Get you out of this neighborhood, cause
Yeah, you're all. Yeah.
we don't know where you're gonna end up, you know. So we go out there, and you just go to a neighborhood out there where all these little white kids have better dope. Where they have better dope, and you're somewhat of a made individual. You're exactly what they want to be.
Yeah.
You got the stilo, you got the heart, you got the walk, the talk.
Yeah.
It's not an act. It's who you are.
Yeah.
And right away, you slide right in, and everything is like at your disposal right away. You slide right in. You got girls, you got homies. Two homies that were from the area, lived out there already. That was no good. They just handed you all the connections and people they knew right away. And then you just start going harder. You start getting more loaded. You start getting in the mix more, and then you start, I get arrested again. I get arrested, and I get arrested for selling to an undercover.
Oh,
they were
man.
doing these weird sweeps, because up there, because what it was when you lived in Santa Clarita, these kids would love to go to the San Fernando Valley. Like, you go to San Fernando Valley, that's what time it is. So we're down there, and some dude randomly just, hit me up for some yerba, some weed at the pizza shop, and I obviously I said yeah or something, and boom, they just hit me up, threw me into a paddy wagon, that fucking quick, and was off to the next wherever, and they were on walkie-talkies, and they were just going around swooping fools up, wop, 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 wop. Fill up the paddy wagon, and then book everybody for whatever. So that was sales and possession, merit. So then that was that, and then
So what happened? Your first time when you were getting booked. I mean, what was going through your mind?
here we go.
Here we go.
No, we're kind of like, you got a chip on your shoulder. You're unstoppable. Now at this point, 15, you're unstoppable. You with the business. You tough. You know everything.
It is what it is.
This is the way we roll. This is the way it is. I'm a homie. Like, even though I'm not from a barrio, like, hey, I keep my head strong. I keep my head high, chest out, down for whatever. I'm with it. Whatever.
It's just another day.
Just another fucking day.
It is what it is, yeah.
Get busted. Hey, it's what we do. All right. Ain't shit. A little bit of fucking weed. Go to the halls. Get released. I don't remember all the probation or nothing, because right away I get caught for riding on a freeway wall right after that. Broad daylight.
Yeah.
Drunk. That's why I say, like, at this age, it's, wisdom over smarts.
Yeah.
Smarts always got me in trouble. Smarts always got me into shit.
Yeah.
Wisdom is getting us to where our success is.
That's right.
So, smart fucking idea. Pull over here, broad daylight, right on the fucking wall. Boom, highway patrol comes, hems me up. But I was cool. I kept riding, everything until he cuffed me and, or got to me. You didn't blink.
You just kind of,
You didn't blink at shit.
Exactly.
You roll with it.
You saw them coming, and you're like, well, fuck, I'm going to finish my placazo. I'm going to finish it, and that's it.
That's it. Get popped again, and then now mom's she won't pick you up. So I don't know if I did 2 weeks, 3 weeks or whatever until they release you. And
what did you see when you were locked up in there?
I remember going to Silmar from the first time. Now I'm in Silmar, because this is like I'm getting busted in the San Fernando Valley, and I can fucking scratch like the littlest fucking paint off the glass, and I can look. If I look real carefully, I see the freeway. I see the I think it's the the 210.
Yeah.
And I just remember, where the fuck am I? You know, because I wasn't familiar. So, you know, now you're just learning how to go to the halls. You know, how to walk, how to talk. You know,
Tell us.
you start, you know, you start learning how to play with the boys. You know, you start, you know, because they're gangbanging in there. So, you know, they're hitting you up, and you're from Barrio nowhere.
Yeah.
But you keep your head high.
Yeah.
You know, so,
When you were, I mean, and you're basically saying, I mean, you weren't scared because you were already programmed, or not?
no,
You're like, hey, it is what it is.
In the halls, two ways you'd fight. You would get down during rec, and just somebody would say some stupid shit, and it would go kick off just like that, and be a quick one-on-one, and until staff can come in and bowling ball you two over and him you guys up, and you know, do that, or on rec, you know, you play a fucking game, and again somebody says some shit, or somebody got a wild hair up their ass, you know what I mean? Because with me, I never got into anything because it was never a gang thing. It was never, you're never gonna hit me up and we're gonna have pleito over fucking neighborhood shit.
Yeah.
You know, it was more like it was fucked up because I don't speak Spanish. Because Dad was never there. My dad's from Sinaloa. His whole family's from Sinaloa. My dad speaks Spanish, but him never being there.
You've never been there. You
Never was taught Spanish, right? So, last name Hernandez, on lighter complexion, colored eyes, but the way I carried myself, I don't know why it was challenging to some of the homies. You know, so, hey, you ain't raza, or, you know, you ain't this, or whatever. And,
They gave you a hard time in there.
yeah, and then fuck you, you know, and then for me it'd be, fuck you, you know what I mean? And then boom,
It was on.
we scrap.
Yeah.
You know? And I'd always be able to hold my own.
Did you ever feel kind of like betrayed by our people? Just because
You know, it hurt me in a sense, because
these are your hints.
it's giving me a complex. Like, I'm sitting there going, I'd catch myself going, I'm not a white boy. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I got just that was my thing though. I got just as much quota as you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know what the cause is. Even young.
Yeah.
I just knew what Southside was even at that age, you know.
Yeah.
Just Southside blue.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm down for the cause. Whatever what the cause was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't even know we fully know what the cause is at that point.
Yeah.
But bottom line, it was homie, you know.
Yeah.
And you just hold it down. So you know, so I go to the halls for the first time, and then I get out, and then I think it was assault and robbery. I get busted again. I do my first camp term at Camp Scott, and then that's camp. So now
How was camp? Describe camp. to
camp.
us.
See, camp was like, I think camp was fucking firme. Like, I like, cause camp is like, cause you gotta understand, I'm running hard out there.
Yeah.
I'm doing lots of drugs. I'm partying my ass off. I'm getting in sticky situations. It's a nonstop get down out there. I want to say that my 4 camp terms probably saved my life.
Wow.
You know, because it gave me,
It gave you time
it
to
gave me
freedom from that.
to slow down,
Yes.
get off the streets. Keep in mind, you know, my mom would say after the first time getting locked up was, I can finally sleep at night.
Wow.
You know, because I know where you're at. I know you could handle yourself.
Yeah.
And you're okay. So when I'm out, I'm gone. And God knows what I'm doing. And she was always scared of getting that phone call.
Yeah.
So, you know, so it's, you know, camp, you know, so how was camp? Camp was cool. You ate better. You played more sports.
Yeah. Any problems in camp at all?
Yeah, I can remember the first fool I got down with in camp was Blackie from Orphans, and it was over some homework. I was always decently smart, and I forget how it went down, but I was like, he was, I think, struggling at it, and I went, shoot it to me, big dog, all fucking, and so I did it, and then the next day, he's like, you fucked it all up. You did me scandalous. I guess it was wrong. So
It was wrong.
So he was like, hey, that's it, me and you, laundry room. So I was like, all right. And then here we went, and held my own. He got the best of me, but held my own.
You had your own.
Little did I know, though, he'd been putting tips on motherfuckers in there, you know what I mean? So to go in there and at least do as good as I did, after the fact, earned his respect. Yeah. And again, I think I've naturally always had solid in me.
Yeah.
Just streamlined solid. Because always, forever, and a day, just held it down. You stood up for yourself, and no matter win, lose, or draw, you know what I mean? You just don't ever let nobody railroad you or push you over or bully you or none of that.
That's
you know what I mean?
That's right.
Stand up for yourself.
Exactly.
And and I have ego at that time. You gotta understand, I have ego. I feel like I have a lot of heart. I'm very I assess other boys and shit like that to the core, so like I would sit there and I would assess everything, and I'd go, I got this. I'm fucking solid. I'm tougher than half these kids. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm good. Yeah. I was never in any of the camps. So you go to Camp Scott. Scott's like the little of all little camps. Then I went to another assault and robbery.
Another assault and robbery. How many times did you get arrested during your teenage years? Roughly.
Over 10, 12 times. My shit was, my thing was like, my stack, my juvenile stack was probably like that big.
So going to juvie, going to camp, it wasn't a big deal for you?
No, I went to Scott, then I went to Miller. Then I got refiled on. I got in a fight in class. I went to Munns to Scudder. Yeah, to Scudder right when I was 17. And then I'd been on probation since I was 13. I only discharged probation as a juvenile because I turned 18.
So it's safe to say it wasn't a big deal for you, Karna?
No, I had juice. Juice. I was known in the system. Once you went to boot camp, it was kind of like said that once you went to boot camp, that was like, boot camp was the camp of camps, you know what I mean? As far as structure and rehabilitation. When I made it to Scudder, another camp after that, I think it's because it was just a violation. Small crime with the violation. They put me back. Nothing was YA. Nothing I had done was YA, to give me the YA. So here we go, another camp, and they were just reverting that camp into a boot camp. So they kind of utilized me. Oh, hey, Hernandez has been to boot camp. We get him here. He can help us call cadence, march, kind of break down the structure of that camp. But again, you're getting programmed. See, and at that point, if you would ask me what the fuck I was gonna do, what are you gonna do when you grow up? What are you gonna do when you get out? Well, all I knew was for these prior, because I missed 4 Christmases, 4 Thanksgivings, 4 I'd missed 4 consecutive holidays.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Every year, Frankie was busted. But you're gaining your little silly stripes. You're gaining your little silly stripes. You're staying alive. You're gaining experience with the fellas. You know what I mean? You're knowing how to. One thing you're definitely doing is you're knowing how to hold hold your chin up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're gaining that experience. And you make it out of that, you finally discharge.
Do you... Go ahead.
Yeah, you find yourself at 18 and you're just a delinquent.
Wow.
You're just a fucking delinquent that is fortunate to be alive through all the shit that we've done. A delinquent with still a nasty drug habit, and ego the size of
Mount Rushmore.
fucking Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, Simone.
You know?
So you're 18 years old now, and you're battling drug addiction. You're earning your stripes. As far as, when you're in camp, when you're incarcerated, you're like, people know who you are. You know what I'm saying? At that point, did you feel that you found the answer? Like, hey, this is who I am, all right, I got respect in the streets, people know who I am, self-scared, it is what it is, and hey, this is who I'm gonna be.
I think at 18, it was more, when I got off probation, it was like, whew, I made it. Like, it was like a little, like, oh shit, I'm not a juvenile no more.
Yeah, exactly.
Shit's gonna get real. So, kind of like, which way we're gonna go, you know what I mean? And sure enough, my grandfather is now in the house that we lived on Yosemite.
Yeah.
My stepdad's sister and her kid lives there, and my grandfather's getting down with her. He's having a thing with her.
Really?
So
you, hold on, let me catch up.
Yeah.
Okay. Your grandfather is being with who again? I cut.
Stepfather's sister.
Your stepfather's sister, so your grandfather is being with. Okay.
So that being my pad, right? Yeah. Since before, I'm on a run, whatever, 3, 4, 5 days. Got a few homies. I find out my grandfather's over there. I just want to kick it. We go over there. I have a few fellas with me. I see my grandfather. He's the other half of my heart too. He's the only man that. My grandfather was this way.
Yeah.
Go talk to your grandson. My mom would tell him, go talk to your grandson. We'd walk down the street. What are you, fuck you doing for 4 or 5 days disappearing, making your mom worried. This, that, and the other. What I tell you about that shit, Yes, Grandpa, yeah, because I'd never talk back to him. Yeah. And then he'd go, one last question. What, Grandpa? Did you have a good time? Fuck, yeah. And he'd go, that's right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's just what it was. And so 18 years old, I catch myself finding out that he's over there at that old pad. He's there. So I just want to kick back. I want to, chill out that night.
See your grandfather.
And I go see him, and I remember I got a little emotional, I seen him, and back at the old house, and in the neighborhood, and everything's going good. But here comes this other dude, the cousin that just got out of prison. And he comes out, and one thing turns into another. He's one of those, I've heard about you, yada yada, look at you, look at your boys, and he's a white dude. He's tatted up white dude.
Yeah.
And he's, we're all drinking and whatever, and then little by little, I want to be where your guys are from. Some shit like that. And whatever, you did, you let it go, you whatever, dismiss it, presses on it a few more times, so then at a certain point you're like telling one of them, hey, we're just gonna fuck them up. Yeah. Hey, we're not from nowhere.
Yeah.
But he wants to be from where we're from. Ready to jump him, it's fucking,
Yeah,
we
just
end up
beat 'em
fucking
down.
him,
We're
fuck
gonna
him
get-
up,
we're gonna beat down.
and it doesn't stop there. It's how stupid a night will get.
Yeah.
because of drugs and alcohol.
Yeah.
And ego and misguided everything. That turns into fucking him up. Now he's literally acting like now he's part of.
Yeah.
Now fucking he wants to go do something. Let's go do a mission.
Yeah.
The guy the driver, I don't want to get too crazy into this, but bottom line is, everything that I was gonna, okay, we'll do this, it kept backfiring on me,
Like what? What do you mean?
Like the driver was a fucking nerd. The only reason why he was even there is because he had the car.
Because you had the car.
Long hair,
Yeah.
skinny, not a homeboy whatsoever.
Yeah.
Can't bust a grape. Not with the business, but he had the car. He never does nothing, never anything, right? So okay, so let's we'll put it on him. If he's down, we're down.
Yeah.
Which he never's down. Well, guess what? That night, he's with it. He's ready to go. He's
Yeah.
stupid, and then one thing leads to another, and then
You guys went out to go bust a mission. Who are you gonna get?
random stupid shit. Just get somebody.
Anybody.
You know what I mean? It's so like
Anybody.
we got 3 blocks away, and again, me and my bride, I don't even want to do any of this shit. It's
Yeah.
just unfolding wrong the whole time.
thing is wrong. But you're doing it. But
3,
you're there.
yeah. This 3, so about 3 blocks away, right behind this grocery store, I run into an individual. Boom! And again, I just take initiative. I jump off the ride. I fucking bang him up a little bit, pull a knife on him, rob him for his shit, his necklaces, his watch, his cash. Boom, it's a wrap. Get back in the ride. Done, let's go home. No, not enough. Still want.
Wants more.
Now big dog wants,
His
his
he wants
turn.
to do his turn. Yeah.
So, long story short, fucking, we end up all over the fucking place that night.
Describe that night to me, man.
We end up.
You
Cause I'm trying to defuse this shit. This whole fucking time.
You're trying to stop it.
This whole time, and stupid, huh? Like if you think about it, right? In retrospect, like I could have just walked away and said no. All this me at this point trying to say I try to stop everything. Like, how? I was trying to maneuver around this, and nothing was working. Obviously, at this point, we jumped somebody into a fucking thing that was nothing. Like, think about it.
Yeah.
But it was, the motherfucker was asking for it.
Yeah.
He begging for it. No matter what we said, he just kept fucking asking.
Yeah,
so whatever. And then again, just going and, go bust the fucking mission on some stupid shit. Okay, I just hurried up and did it real quick so it was done. Then it turned into my turn, and then again I didn't trust anything but me in this situation. So we ended up a snatch and grab at McDonald's, order a bunch of food, grab the food, jam, and then we end up so we're eating, hungry, whatever, and then we end up we're driving around. It's getting later and later in the night. We're driving around, and I'm trying to lag on the drive. I'm you know what I mean? I'm not. They're not coming up with nothing, and I'm not trying to cause nothing. You know what I'm saying? So it gets later and later, and we end up in Arcadia. And then finally, it's getting late, and whatever, and I said, fuck it, just run into somebody. Run into somebody, and then, whatever.
So
Yeah.
this one night, you guys already beat somebody up. You already robbed somebody. You've already did a snatch and grab from McDonald's. Now you're gonna do this again. Basically, what I'm seeing from you, and correct me if I'm wrong, this gentleman is wanting to take someone's life. Is that kind of like?
No, like supposedly.
Okay.
So like,
Tell me what happened.
So bottom line is,
You run into another
we
person.
run into somebody, dude gets off the car. I go meet him. Hey, license, insurance, whatever, and that dude comes around the car and just books him. And it was like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? And we leave, you know, we jam, and the dude falls, and we leave, and then the dude was a Navy fucking SEAL, drunk. This guy had priors for DUI, the dude that he booked, and he's a Navy SEAL or a Marine. And he had already had like priors of DUI, and here he is drunk and driving again. And fortunately, he played possum. So when he got booked, he dropped it. But what he did was he got the plate. So by the time, we got in the car and we took off back to the pad, police were already waiting. And so here I am, 18, catching my first.
Yeah.
You know, it was attempted 180. They trumped it all up. Attempted 187, accessory to this, accessory to that, yada yada yada. And at this time, it was like it was fucked up because my girl at that time was pregnant. Yeah. So she was pregnant. I was trying to do better. What a fucking retarded night. Yeah. They're pulling my whole fucking juvenile record at me because there's violence in my juvenile record. They're trying to put it with that, and the whole thing was
They want to give you some time, basically.
yeah, and the whole thing was to me was
It was stupid, probably. You were like, damn, what am
I
I
ain't saying shit, and you know the program. We're not saying nothing.
Yeah.
When I talk to the detectives and I go, well, you got the story, you got it, you're telling me he told you whatever, then that's that. And if you look at the paperwork, they put verbatim, like what he said is they stamped like that's what they put on my paperwork, verbatim, like his words, whatever he said.
Yeah.
Now it's on mine. Wow. And it's telling me that I did this, I did that. This is what he's saying. I did this, I did that, whatever.
Threw it all on you.
So they're throwing shit on me.
Yeah.
And this is where we're learning now we're learning what's what now and how that goes down and how things get handled. You know what I'm saying?
So
I do a county lid.
I was about to say that. Yeah, exactly.
I do a county lid. He ends up coming correct. I don't even know how much time he got. I get the county lid. Other dude got released. I forget whatever else the other dude got, but do a county lid, and now you experience the county. Now me experiencing the county at 18, it's 2,800 6-man cells with 2 floor sleepers at the time. And my thing was, it was Chente from Azusa was the older homie that was kicking Clecha to me, right? And my thing was, homeboy, what the fuck, big dog? That Negro's fucking forearm is the size of my thigh.
Yeah.
The fuck, dude? What the fuck? How do we handle that?
Yeah.
And we're in this little ass cell. And, he breaks it all down. Don't trip. We got things for that. Together, he breaks down the whole program.
Yeah.
And then you start programming, and here you go. You do a county lid, 18 years old, fresh as shit. And now this is the first time you realize, where you really size up in life. Because now you're around big boys. Now you're around men. You're feeling 2 full-grown men getting down 6 cells down the role and you feel it in your cell.
Yeah.
And reality starts hitting home. You know, you start, it's a reality.
It is.
It's one of those things where there's no room for fear.
Yeah.
You know what you're doing? You're programming better. You're doing burpees more that day. You're doing fucking handstand push-ups. You're trying to strengthen yourself. And you ain't got time to be a fucking asshole. You can't afford to be a fucking asshole in there. You know, but you're getting with the program. You're getting with the fellas. You know what I mean? You're just doing, you know, you're doing your little time.
Even though you were already hardened, you know, this is your first time in county. Was there even an ounce of fear? Was there a little bit of fear, or were you just like, man, sabes que, homie, this is who I am. Go in there, I'm gonna do this.
No, I would say there was like a piece of fear would come in.
Yeah.
You know, because it's new.
Of course.
You see those when you get to a role for the first time.
Yeah.
And you see all that steel. You know what I mean? Yeah. And you size up that cell, right? There's like that initial fear, but you shove it away real quick.
Yeah.
You know, you just
yeah.
There's you know right away. There's no changing nothing. There's no changing shit. There's nothing. You're in it to win it right here.
Did you have any regret though? Did you at least did you say, damn, maybe I fucked up?
No,
maybe I messed up.
Again, it was just
You weren't there yet. You weren't.
No, again, it was just wrong. I was still like wrong place, wrong time. You know.
Yes.
Again, because I wasn't living right still.
Yeah.
Here we go. You know, just another thing we're gonna experience. You know, we're going in this direction anyways.
How long were you in there? How long did you do county?
5 months.
5 months.
5 months.
So, and let me ask you this: what's the worst thing that you saw in county?
They put me in a transfer module and they cracked. So one of the porters came around and he's like, this cell, that cell, 288. And, you know, 288s. And the cells are going to crack, you know. And those people are going to take care of theirs. We're going to take care of ours, you know. Yeah. And I'm not quite, I'm figuring it out little, you know, as we go. Because, you know, I've never experienced this one. And the cells rack, and the dude next to me had already put a plastic bag over his fucking head and tied his shit up.
Yeah.
And he was trying to fucking take himself, you know, do himself in. And the other dude, so the other people didn't take care of theirs, so the homie from Cypress Park, he called on me, and we ran down to that cell and did the damn thing with that dude. And again, these are just different things that you're experiencing, like a full-grown man screaming, like the screech.
Yeah.
You know, that squeal.
Yeah.
You know, you're just absorbing that shit for the first time, you know, like on that level. You know what I mean? And then seeing a dude trying to take himself out, you know, that was a different, unpleasant, fucking different situation.
What did that do to your inside? I've not seen this.
You know, no, you're just absorbing it, big dog. You're just absorbing, and this is just part of what this is.
Of what it is. It's your life.
This is it. This is.
So at that point, you're out, but you really didn't see no hope. Am I right? This is my life. This is what it is. So I'm gonna live it. So I'm gonna run it.
I think that's what it was when I'm in there, because there's no half-stepping shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, so you do the best you can to run your county program, and then you get out, and I had said enough's enough. You know, I don't want to do this shit no more. I don't want to. I've done enough, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that was enough. All those Christmases, all those holidays, I'd already given enough time there. This county jail shit, you know, because I had talked to a good amount of homies that were telling me that it's not the same no more. You know what I mean? It's not the business. It's not what it's all, you know, chalked up to be. So I think that was enough to to at least change my mind of wanting to be in prison.
Oh, why? Yeah, of course not.
You know, but the thing is like, we got life to build. We don't want to do that. Let's structure up in life. And then we got drugs to do again.
So you did this time. You're seeing these violent acts in prison. You're seeing
In
someone.
county.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, in county. You're seeing someone basically almost die. If I don't know if that individual did pass or
No.
did. Okay, almost die before your eyes. You're seeing all this, and you come out and you're like, well, it's time to get high again. It's crazy, Carnan. Isn't it? Yeah. I mean, think about it. What I just told you. You're right. I mean, you're like, damn. Okay.
Well, you try to get out, because I would try to get out, you know, because I had, you know, because my first relationship, I got with her when I was 16, and so I'd been with her through all those years of me going to camps and stuff like that, and then here we go, now county, and then, you know, she was pregnant, she lost the kid, she miscarried. Now I'm getting out when I'm almost 19, you know, yeah, let's say around 19, and we're just trying to figure out life. We're just trying to get
You're still
a
young.
little spot, you know what I mean?
But think about this, Carnan. It didn't come to your head that as you were saying that, man, I really don't want to go to prison. But the first thing that came out as soon as your feet touch concrete, you know, freedom, I mean, outside, is I want to get high. It didn't come to your head like, man, if I continue getting high, I'm going to end up going back to county.
No,
I'm going to end up going to...
No, here was the thing, though. As hot as I was running and all the things that I would do when I was using prior to this, it was getting high plus this and this and this and this. This was going to be, let's get high, but kick back. We're not gonna go out and about and do this no more. We're not gonna go.
Oh, okay.
We're not
You're
gonna
going to stay in that canton and just...
Yeah, well, you know what I mean. We're gonna get a job. We're gonna get a job, and we're
and get high when we're...
and, you know, get high, whatever the fuck,
Yeah.
and 21, and I wake up one morning, and I have the 2 pit bulls, I have the fish tank, I got my TV, a little 12-pack of beer in the fridge, and I remember just out of nowhere, randomly, I wake up and I'm so fucking happy. It was I made it, fucking like a victorious.
So you had your own place at this point.
Yeah, it was like, and it wasn't like, I'm not saying this was the day we got the place. This is just one random fucking, one random morning. I woke up so overwhelmed with joy about being alive and making it. I felt like I fucking made it.
Yeah.
And if you really think about it, what the fuck did I make? What was I so happy about?
Well, what
Had life been such a roller coaster, such a fucking snowball of all types of shit, and so much fucking misery, and so much just miswired, negative, dark, fucked up shit, that just being alive, or just being well, or just having those little things that I had that were all mine, I woke up thinking I was like, I just won the fucking Olympics.
Wow, by having that little bit of...
Just having that little whatever.
Little bit of peace, you would just say?
Yeah.
Wow.
And
so
then,
were you still getting high at this time, or were you like clean a little bit?
No, it goes to show you, like, right after, I think I was doing okay, not too heavy in the shit, but then a neighbor rolled up. A neighbor bought a house across the street, and that was an interesting one. You know, they were recovering addicts. They were from San Diego. They had a meth problem. They moved to fucking San Fernando Valley in this back house for 4 years, stayed clean, saved every fucking dollar they had, and boom, 5 years later, they were able to buy this fucking house. And so we drink, and then within 4, 5, 6 months of that, she cheated on him. So then he went back to San Diego and came back with dope. And then it was on. Then it was, you know, hey, Frankie, you take these, just give me this. We're good. And then that's when everything started going.
What started?
The drug use again. Here we go, you know, just back on a sick one, you know, like 'cause I got a job working for the city of Burbank as a painter at 20. And it was a apprentice program, and at that time it was $12.75 an hour. It was a 980, so it was like 9 days, 80 hours. So every other Friday you had a 3-day weekend, and I swore I was never gonna get high there, you know. But within a month or two, I was little by little I'd start fucking around.
And this is on meth now.
And this is on meth, and
Which meth is, for those of us that don't know, you know, meth is one of the hardest drugs you could do, man. It gets you so addicted, man. I mean, we've seen, you know, some of the people that I've seen that have been addicted to meth, it really messes up somebody's life, man.
it amplifies. It'll amplify. It'll break you down. It'll enhance any insecurity you have. It'll enhance anything. If you have, you know, this, that, or the other, it's gonna enhance it. It's gonna expose it. It's gonna break you down. It's gonna do all, and everybody's different.
So you have your own place, you and your lady, right?
Yeah.
You have your own place, and you have a job for the city of Burbank.
Right.
And you're starting meth.
Yeah. Started doing meth again.
Probably wasn't the smartest thing to do.
Not at all.
So you're on meth now. How long did you hold your job for while doing meth?
Oh, I did the whole 18-month thing.
You did it? Wow.
Yeah, I did the whole, because what happened was little by little, you know, one way or another, I figured out he smoked weed. The
guy who's
superintendent who ran the department.
Oh,
you know, so
I understand.
You know, one way or another, I started selling him weed. You know, I started selling him bud, and then
you took care of him. You kept your job.
Yeah, and then yeah, it just things worked out. You know, you always figure it out one way or another to, you know, get the wheelhouse to work your way. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So
how old are you at this point? You're in your mid-20s?
No, I'm 20. No, I'm 20. I started the city of Burbank when I was 20, and that lasted till I was 22.
22.
You know?
You have your own place, but you're on meth.
Yeah.
Did things ever go chaotic? Did you ever lose everything to this drug? Did you ever?
We just say, let's say from 20 to 24, meth just got progressively more and more and more. Okay, so from 20 to 22, I did the city of Burbank. That was a hell of a ride getting loaded at the city of Burbank. I mean, I did fucking lines on the fucking mayor's toilet.
Wow.
Way up in the tower shit.
Wow.
So we make past that whole roller coaster of, cause that was early too. You had to be there 5 a.m. You know what I mean? And when he was one of those fucking don't be late Nazi warrior motherfuckers, you late. I remember I one time I was late 40 minutes, and he put me on blast in front of the shop and was like, you better have a good fucking reason or else you're done. And I went, no bullshit. I was dreaming I was here. So as far as I knew, I was on time. Then I woke up and I realized I was late. and everybody started laughing.
Yeah.
Like how quick, and then he gave me a pass. I was always really good, really quick on my toes.
Yeah.
Who gave a fuck? You either you sell this one and it works, or you're fucked anyways.
If one thing that I've always admired about you, you've always told the truth, Colonel. Whether someone liked it, whether you didn't, or whether you even got in trouble, or whatever. Like, hey, this is what it is. This is who I am. And seeing that, you even said at that young age, hey, this is what happened, man. And I admire that about you, Colonel, because you know what, you're straight up, Colonel.
Let's be solid and genuine. I'm constantly saying that.
So you're 20, you do the apprenticeship, but I'm asking you, how bad did you get into the drugs? As you're saying, you're doing it a lot now, right? That even did it cost you?
It's getting rough. It's getting super rough. It's getting like to get, because so in order to, you try to hang in there, you start okay, look, so partying started on Thursdays. I'd always see smarts again, right? Hey fellas, hey guys, check this out. We can start on Thursday. The reason why we can start on Thursday is we get jiggy tonight. We're good tomorrow. We don't look different. We don't look funny. It's Friday. We get one good fresh day of being loaded. The first 24 hours, you shouldn't look any different. And then your Friday goes by fast. You get a jump head start. So, right, guys, start Thursday night. You can stay up all night. You look fine at work. You get through your day faster. Now you got Friday night. You got Saturday night. You slow down, drink, smoke weed, whatever, land the plane. Sunday, don't get jiggy. And then Monday, you look a little off, but who doesn't? It's Monday.
Yeah.
Everybody's slow dragging. Everybody has fucking Monday blues.
Yeah.
So, whatever. And then you get through Monday, you feel all right Tuesday. Wednesday, guess what again? 2 days later, homie, it's Thursday again. Homie, game on.
Again.
The thing is if you fuck around on Sunday, you better have enough resources to get what you need every day. Because the thing is, you can't. You need that one day to calm down. You at least need that one.
Exactly.
You at least need that one day.
You have to.
So there was times where I didn't even listen to my own fucking rules.
And you just did it through the whole week.
And those were long fucking weeks. Because now you don't know how the doses are going to hit you. Every morning's different. Like, to give you an example, I would get up, I would do a bump, right, a little up my nose, just to fucking get dressed and to get out to the car so I could smoke a bowl or two, just so I can come in and brush my teeth and put on my boots.
Wow.
And then I'd do another little line, make a Scooby snack, and when I got back in the car, I'd eat a Scooby snack, and then I'd drive to work. Yeah. And how that Scooby snack would kick in was always different, and that's what got a little. That alone was a motherfucker.
Explain to the audience what a Scooby snack is, because as I tell everybody, our audience is throughout the world. We got people, if you want.
Scooby snack is methamphetamine wrapped up in a piece of tissue, or put it in a gel cap, or it's just putting in some type of usually it was a tissue, and break off the excess of tissue and you swallow it like a pill, and then it's time released, and it's more of a body high, and it kicks in different, but when it does, it.
And how long did you have to do that? How long did you do that for?
As much as I could. That's bottom line what it was. At that time, it was as long as I could, as much as I could. Because the whole thing was, again, Vince, one of the biggest excuses when you're using like that is you can't afford to come down. I'd lose my job. I can't come down Wednesday.
Yeah.
I'll lose my fucking job. I can't afford to come down. And then the longer it gets, I need 3 days.
How much were you spending, do you think, on meth during this time?
Oh, I wasn't.
So it was just...
No, I wasn't, because I was selling weed. I
You were selling...
I had some of the best weed, and then what I was getting the dope for was nothing.
Wow. So
You
it was
know,
basically it was at your disposal.
That was it. It was game. It was game
Wow.
on.
Wow.
You know, another reason why it lasts so long. But
How long were you using for?
you figure
14 years old.
you figure
started?
from 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 24 and a half, 25. So a good 10 years.
10 years. You
So
were
10
using.
years because all hell broke loose. Like at 25, I woke up one day out of a stoop, right? I woke up and my girl that I was with at that time never even talked to her mom, and hadn't seen one of her old friends. And I wake up to her mom, her friend, and half of my place packed up. I didn't even hear them pack it up, but I get up, I look, half my place is packed, mom, friends there, and I took one look there. I went into the bathroom, I got on the phone, I called my homeboy, and was like, hey, it's going down. Because I had a feeling something, but this feeling had been for probably a year.
Yeah.
But here we go, it's finally. So I called my homeboy and was like, hey, it's going down.
Yeah.
Be at my pad, get me real quick. And boom, 8 minutes later, beep, beep, jump in the ride, throw me a fucking issue. And just to give you an idea of how, where my mindset was, I'm losing my high school sweetheart. I'm losing the so-called love of my life, right? And what do you want to do, homeboy? Let's go to Venice, homie. Let's go play handball.
So instead of trying to maybe work things out or try to talk to her, you just kind of said, all right.
I wasn't in no mind. There was no way I could.
Yeah.
First of all, I have to get loaded real quick to even get right.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know. Bottom line, I don't have the fucking balls. I don't have what it takes at that point to, even if I got so-called right enough to talk or whatever, figure some shit out. There was no way I didn't have the confidence. I didn't have the man in me. I didn't have the nerve. I didn't have nothing.
It was better to just get out there and go get high.
Well, yeah, run.
Wow, it's heavy.
Run. And because things are still different at this time. We're still wired a certain way.
Yeah.
We still live in an area where you're holding down the block. You're this guy that does this and that. There's homies around. You got your set fellas around the neighborhood. Now we're on a whole nother level of, older vato from here, older vato from there. You're establishing yourself in this little area, and you're still running a certain program.
Yeah.
So now, getting picked up, getting loaded, go fucking play handball with the homie.
Yeah.
That's the thing to do.
So, So she leaves. She's gone.
Now
she's gone.
Now she leaves.
You come home. You come home to an empty house, basically. Almost. What happens there, Colonel? Continue more drugs?
I initially, my big, homie I'm with, he's like, when we're driving back, he's like, this shit's gonna hit home. Calls one of his older homegirls, asks for his daughter, gets his daughter on the phone, tells her, hey, you're gonna put your daughter with my boy for a couple of days. She's gonna take care of him. So he goes, swoops her up, drops me and her off at the pad, and then she, takes care of me in the sense of talking to me, getting me a beer, trying to not let me hard time.
Yeah.
That's okay for a moment, but then, then she borrows the car and doesn't bring it back.
Yeah.
So that goes south, and it's not like it's not even hooking up with her. It's more of a comfort fucking thing.
Yeah. Did you regret your lady leave, did you regret like the choices
Not
that you were
till
making?
not till days later. Not till it really set. I was so high and didn't want to face it. It wasn't until 3 days later, when I'm all alone, shit's wearing off. I'm looking at the pad. I'm starting to feel that emptiness.
Yeah.
And then it was all bad for at least a month. You know, it was the
What happened in that month?
poor me's, the
Yeah.
depression, the why me, the oh my God, the guilt, the what did I do, the deep breath of like, fuck, that was a long run. You know, what am I gonna do? Okay,
Yeah.
get clean. I think after 2 weeks, I started going to AA meetings. You know.
So you started going to AA
Yeah, I
meetings.
started going to AA meetings, and
That was a good choice.
oh yeah, now I started going to program. That's the first time I sunk my teeth into recovery.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm going to local meetings. My neighbor, so the neighbor at that point, Danny, he now is he's married to my aunt.
Yeah.
So he's like Uncle Danny. Me and him were going through our, you know, his old lady left, mine left. We're going through that completely. You gotta understand, Vince, how long I was getting loaded.
Yeah, it's a long time, Colonel. It's a long
and
time.
this is the first time since I was 12 years old that I'm actually gonna give it a run at being clean. I'd never been clean other than the time I get locked up for a little bit. And I don't have nothing right now. You know, I hadn't been talking to mom. I hadn't been talking to my family. You know, all I depended on was my girl. She's gone.
Yeah.
And now I'm left on just me, myself, this neighbor buddy of mine, and this new thing called recovery that I'm getting into. And I just dove deep into recovery, and I started figuring out who the fuck I was.
Good.
You know, now we start to live again. You know,
Yeah.
now we're starting to live. We're learning what program is, what the point of recovery is, and it's working. And I'm working program, and I'm applying myself, and I get my life back together, and I start growing. I start learning, and I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I'm digging. I'm finally getting to see who the fuck I really am.
Yeah.
And I'm really getting to see myself every year that goes by, who I like, how I really work, where my heart really is at, what I really,
who you're supposed to be.
Yeah, like what I really see is true and valuable, and just revamping my whole life and actually living for once.
At that point, did you start to have regrets for decisions that you had made previously?
No, it was more at this point it was like, because you learn not to regret shit.
Yeah.
You learn to stay in the moment, to make the best of what you got. Look at what, look where you're at. Stay in the now, right? Only time you look back is to kind of remind yourself where you don't want to go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But don't cry over spilled milk.
Yeah.
Worry about, be proud and
yeah,
stand in the now.
Yeah.
And if now's where it's at, now's good and now's okay, then understand that and stay your ass there. You know what I mean?
That's right.
And so the miracle was happening.
Yeah.
But I have close to 4 years. At 4 years, I'm painting my ass off.
Yeah.
I'm doing the do. But I'm working. I'm like, because I'm still an addict. I get full blown into everything I do. So I remember at that time working 33 days straight, 44 days straight, 55 days straight.
Wow.
I'm making good money. I built an 8-man crew within fucking 3 years.
Congratulations.
I'm rocking and rolling. I'm no license, but I have contractors telling me, get the license.
Yeah.
I'll give you bigger contracts. You're fucking doing it. So I'm the first one up in the morning. I'm window shopping at Home Depot. I'm, eating donuts, smoking cigarettes, enjoying life. up before everybody, redoing my truck every 5 days, working 7 days a week. I'm just running and gunning. And the thing is the more I kept working, at a certain point, I started little by little getting away from the meetings, getting away from recovery.
That's not good.
So in one breath, if you knew exactly what I was doing, right? If you knew how my life was, hats off. You'd go, that's it.
Yeah.
You couldn't say a fucking thing about my life. I was productive. I was doing it. I was bringing home the bread. I wasn't doing nothing wrong. You know, I was up and down, straight arrow, go for my license. I get a denial, and they deny me. They give me a denial letter because of my record, and I was 7 months away from statute of limitations. My relationship that I had been complaining about, that hadn't gotten better completely in 5 years of being clean, that was still an issue. And then my Uncle Johnny, he gets murdered.
Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that, Gernot.
So
Sorry to hear that.
One, two, three. If you're not prepared, if you're not connected, if you're not plugged into recovery, then you're working on your relapse. If you're not plugged in one way or another to your recovery, when life shows up, you may not know how to handle it. And that's what happened when
You lost your uncle.
I lost my uncle.
What happened to him, Gernot?
Someone was breaking into his car, so he went down with a fucking BB gun.
Oh man.
And when he went down with the BB gun, he got into a tussle with the dude, and dude pulled a gun and shot him in the chest. And so that was that. And I remember at his tree planting ceremony, one of the older homies, because they all knew who he was to me.
Yeah. Go ahead, Gernot. If you only knew how many people.
Yeah, so bottom line was that, at the tree planting ceremony, one of the older homies that knew me since I was little, he was like, "Oh, Frankie, you want a pistol?" Yeah. And without even thinking, I just went, "Yeah."
Right there.
And then one thing, and then that's all it took. That's all it took,
Yeah.
So now it's all, starting to drink again. You meet somebody else, you leave, then you leave the relationship.
Yeah.
You move out, you meet somebody else.
So you're relapsing at this time.
Yeah, now I'm drinking.
You're drinking.
Now I'm drinking, and then I meet a girl that I had met that lived in my aunt's apartment when we were younger. And when he passes, I bump into her again, right? And then I start drinking, and then we start talking, and then one thing led to another with her, and I move out, and I go live at a homeboy's pad. She leaves who she's with, whatever, and then we go, we try to do us, right? Yeah. And I started getting loaded now. All it took was one time drinking too much, get a phone call, have to make a drive.
Yeah.
And that's how this addict's mind works. No matter how much I got my shit together, this, that, or the other, the minute I start anything, I go back to my old ways. I go back to my stinking thinking, what I know how to do. Because if you look at my story, right, the one thing I know how to do more than fucking anything is get loaded.
Wow.
The one thing I know how to do more than anything
That's heavy, Colonel.
is run the streets.
So, man, that's heavy, Colonel. You know, I've interviewed a lot of people on the show, and that's one of the, that's a heavy thing to hear you say that more than anything I know in this world is I know how to get high. That's heavy, Colonel.
Yeah.
That's heavy. And you know how to run the streets. What has getting high brought you, Colonel? What has it given you, Colonel? Has it given you joy? Has it given you laughter?
Okay, no. If we wanted to be really, really real with that, no. So like we can say that yes, I've had a lot of good times. I've had a lot of genuine, fun, good, happy, animated. One for the books. Like, if the first 10 years or what, if you grew up with me, teenagers, big dog, you'd even say right now, like, motherfucker, boy, some of those nights were for the books. We had a blast, high or not. And then, but what happens is, once it wears you out, once it's not fun anymore. It's not working like it used to. It turns into something completely different. Now it's more of a deep-rooted, demented type of getting high. Now you're getting high just to rawly get high and exist like that, to live, to be, not just for fun, not just for the enhancement of the night, not for just a couple days of get down. You're like, we're going on runs of like, we're living this shit. Misery, depression.
That's right.
Problems.
Yes.
Issues. Existing, not living. Lying. I mean, all the characteristics of what you have to do when you're
An addict.
Deceiving, letting everybody down. Can't be accountable. Tearing down your body. I mean, unhealthy to fucking extreme
That's
points.
right.
And
That's what that drug does to you.
You figure sleep deprivation, malnutrition. I'm lucky I got. That's what it is for me though. You gotta understand. The mind that I have right now, the ability that I have now, my teeth, my ability, my heart, the life I have in me, from that I have now, knowing all the shit that I have done. Why do I go after that goddamn unity? Why do I go after everything I do now as far as plugging people together, helping the next struggling addict, wearing my heart on my sleeve, loving my wife.
Yeah.
Being genuine, solid, and true.
Yeah.
Appreciating what life is.
Yeah.
Why do I have the understanding that I have when I revalued everything I put and I reassessed everything as a whole?
I wanna focus. I wanna talk about your wife for a second. You love your wife.
Oh, with all my heart.
If you went back to that drug, what would that do to your family? What would that do to your wife? It would destroy you guys.
It would destroy. No, it would destroy my I mean, I don't even want to say I have I wouldn't even, no, see, I don't even play with that. I don't even say that I might be able to get away with a little hiccup. No. Bottom line, I just lose my wife, I lose my kids, I lose my house, I lose all the trust that I built. Because the thing is like, at this point in my life, very, very blessed. Like, the trust that I've earned and gained is up here. The person I am and developed and built through the process of my new life in recovery, it's up here. It's solid. Not up here, but right here, and it's solid.
How many kids do you have, Gordon?
3.
You have a relationship with your kids?
Yes.
Have your kids ever seen you battle this addiction?
I fortunately they were too young to ever see when.
That?
Yeah.
That's a good thing, Colonel.
Right.
That's a good thing.
Oh, absolutely.
Let me ask you, how long have you been clean now?
6 years, 4 months.
6 years, 4 months. Okay, so you're 45, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you're 45. So where we were at is you were clean, you relapsed, and you were 45. So you relapsed. How long did you relapse for? Did you go back to the drug? Did you go back to the meth?
9 years.
You went back to meth for 9 years.
9 years.
Tell me your life in those 9 years.
Oh shit. That was I went to a rehab, got out of the rehab, and again, just started taking a drink. You know, still in the rehab, and I started having a drink, and then I pulled the wool over another guy's eyes that lives in there and doing really good, so we get a place together. And you know, that's all it is, Vince. Once I start drinking, that's
all it takes.
Just give it a little bit of time, and I'll be using.
So you can't have a beer. There's no way.
That's
You couldn't.
what I say.
Yeah.
That's what, to be honest with myself, and if I was gonna go with my whole life experience, every time I've tried to drink like a gentleman, I've never been able to do it. So at this point, I'd be a fool to think that I could.
Yeah, you can't, Colonel. You can't,
No.
because it would destroy your life.
Right.
You would go back to that, it would destroy your life.
Right.
You would lose everything that you built thus far.
Right.
So you went back to meth for 9 years. You mentioned earlier that lie, cheat, steal, basically anything to get that meth. Is that correct?
Sure.
Tell me your darkest night while in those 9 years.
Oh shit. Darkest night in those 9 years.
You also mentioned depression. Were you ever suicidal during that?
Never. No, that is interesting.
Well,
interesting
God for
enough. Never suicidal.
Thank God for that.
I want to say it was pretty bad. I was in a really bad state when, like, right in between, like right before I met my wife.
Your wife.
Yeah, I was hitting some dead ends. I was getting high to certain degrees, and depleting myself, and going down a really, really fucking deep hole very, very quick. And
Describe that hole. What was going on?
Empty, spiritless, spiritually broken, emotionally bankrupt, with anxiety, with fear, with discomfort, on top of that, feeling lost, so fucking out of sorts that I couldn't even fathom how, because some of these things were so foreign to me, because I'd never had anxiety. I'd never been completely spiritually broke, and here I am.
You're at the bottom, basically.
Yeah.
You're at the bottom.
Yeah.
So
Super dark, lonely, mixed with very uncomfortable emotions.
well, what emotions were you
Completely
feeling?
broken. Fear.
Go back there. Tell me.
Fear. No. Fear. I told you.
Yeah.
Fear. Spiritually bankrupt. Anxiety. You fucking name empty. Like, how fuck you have anxiety and empty at the same time? But running so hard for so long, doing it again. Here we are. This is, don't ever fucking think that no matter how deep of a hole you find yourself in through addiction, that you can't get to a deeper one.
Wow, that's heavy.
Because I've shown myself multiple times, regardless of how deep of a hole I've been in, I can always get myself in a deeper one.
A deeper hole.
And that last one was a motherfucker.
Wow.
And by the grace of God, I met my wife, you know.
Wow.
And at least, you know, and that's another whole get down in itself.
So when you met your wife, did she know that you were an addict?
Not initially.
She didn't know.
No. I hid it well.
Would you be safe to say that meeting her helped save you?
Absolutely in many ways. It's because it was such a just a natural you know, the way I met her, you know, it's because it was so far from the norm. You know, it was I'd never would ever in a million years never use a website or dating site.
Yeah.
I've never, you know, had to do any of that. And my aunt had made me a profile, you know, because she found somebody and she knew I was kind of in between. So
Yeah.
she made me a profile, and I met
Your wife
on Plenty of Fish.
That's right. Hey, it's all good, man. It's all good.
Oh
man.
no, I don't care if I met her from under a rock. No, seriously, like,
Hey,
at the end of the day, it's just like,
she's been a blessing to you.
in more ways than one.
Thank God. Thank God.
In more ways than one. When you find somebody and you fall in love with somebody the way we did, and we created our own everything from the ground up, it doesn't get no genuine than that. Unique, real, raw, righteous, honest. Like, it's what we built and how we built it. Like, you know, being through what we've been through, it's our own fucking notebook.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It's our huge blessing. It's our own every fucking thing that we've done.
How, Garnan, did you get clean? How did you get sober? Because you're with your wife and she's a blessing, but you're still an addict. You're still dealing with this demon that you can't get off your shoulder. How did you finally get clean?
She got accepted to UCLA.
Your wife is, even though they can't see her, she's in the background crying, actually. She's in the background crying, you know. And to see the love that you guys share blesses my heart. So, yeah.
Right.
Welcome to Barrio Driven Home. This is life.
Us
This is
together
life.
right now.
That's
You know
exactly
what I mean?
right, Karnan.
Let's see, you wanted it, you got it.
I want it all, Karnan.
I know.
I want to know who Frank Hernandez is, and I'm learning.
Yeah.
And thank you for this time with us.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. So, you went back, you had a relapse of 9 years.
Yeah.
You meet your wife, and she's been a blessing to you. How are things going with your wife at this point? And you're battling addiction. And she's clean, I assume. So she's
clean.
Yeah.
It's okay. Relationship, as good as a relationship can be, as far as supporting each other, right? All the things that we do as far as unity, mentoring, influencing, supporting each other to whatever mission she has, I have, pushing each other to, you know, go out there and do more and stay true to what it is. And the love part of it, if you want to talk about a couple that can keep lighting that fire constantly, you know, with different moments, different looks, just keeping the fire lit in so many different ways to keep that spark alive. I mean, we accomplish that all the time.
But how are you doing that, battling with your addiction?
Oh, it's because addiction is not a battle anymore.
Wow, so...
No. Okay. No. First and foremost, my addiction is not a battle anymore. Okay? It's always a work in progress.
Yeah.
But I want to say the battle, it was pretty easy this time, because when I made a decision, when I got clean this last time, I think I genuinely did it for me and the right reason, and I owned it. You know, I jumped into it, and I got into it, and I did the work, and I got plugged in, and there wasn't that much of a battle.
But what I was saying is that we're right now in your 9 years of when you're relapsing. We're in your relapse stage. So you're relapsed, and you just met your wife, and she comes into your life, and yes, she's a blessing. When does she find out that you're an addict? And she's clean. You're with someone that isn't an addict, and she's an addict. I mean, you're an addict. So how did that...
She's not, just bottom line, when I met her, she's just not doing meth.
Yeah.
But she's, you know, she still drinks and parties, and, you know, who knows what she dabbles in, you know what I mean? She just hadn't done meth, you know? So, like, when I met her and started hanging with her, I would wait, you know, I'd go on a 3, 4 day, 5 day binge and do my thing, and then I'd wait till I settled down, and then I'd, you know, hit her up and then be like, hey, can I go see you? And then I'd go see her, and I'd have, you know, just enough to, because I was in Highland Park, she was in Long Beach. And I would just have enough to get me there and back.
Yeah.
You know, so I'd go hang out with her and whatever, and spend some time with her, and I'd leave, you know. Once I left, I'd just do that little bit I had just to get me back home. And then
And she never knew that you were an addict?
No.
How did you hide it from her? How were you able to do that?
Throughout the years, very in tune with my everything, as far as intake, where I'm at, you know, how I feel, what I have, you know. Very in tune with all that.
Yeah.
Really dialed in. So I knew when I could, you know, I knew what day I could call her and go, hey, you know what I mean? Look in the mirror and, okay, I'm cool. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? Always knew how to act, conduct myself.
Yeah.
And then you gotta imagine too, even if, you know, I wasn't as put together as I thought, when people meet you for the first time, if I meet you, Tueco, for the first time, I just think you're Tueco. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hey, that's just it.
That's funny.
That's all there is to it.
Yes.
So, you know, there was really no major telltale signs.
So is it safe to say that your guys' relationship was good then?
It was when we first met.
Well, no, I'm talking about now. Since you hid it from her, how long? Well, since you guys are married still, right? You guys are married. You guys are good. And,
Yeah, we're
okay. So even though you're dealing with this and she doesn't know, how long were you able to do that for? Like years, 2 years, 3 years?
We were hanging out, and then she, you know, she convinced me to have a beer with her, which that's a no-no. So we were hanging out, and I had to drive, you know, and I had to bust out. I had to bust out right in front of her.
So, wow, really?
Yeah.
Nothing came to your mind like, maybe I shouldn't do this. You know, I might lose
It was
her.
one of those where I have all that experience. So when you gotta understand, I gotta drive now. You know, we're just kicking it. We had a beer. I'm chilling.
You had to do it.
You know,
Yeah.
it's time to. We gotta move. We gotta drive back. Get her back home.
Yeah.
I cannot drive this vehicle unless I get right.
Yeah. So you had to do what you had to do for now.
And then it's
What did she say when you did that?
what is that? She was
She said, "What is that?"
She said, what is that? And I told her what it is, and what's that? Does this and that. Can I try it? And I was like,
Wow.
well,
So she asked you if she could have some.
yeah, and then initially I was like, it was just enough for me, so I give her a tiny little, but at that time, we'd make it back. I'd make it back to the pad, and then she'd call me and she'd want to, and I'm ready to lay it down, and just that little bit would keep her up all night,
Wow.
Yeah.
How did you feel giving her some? Did you have any man, maybe I shouldn't do
No,
that?
because I'm still not.
You're still not in that.
Because here's the deal. That's not. You're not thinking that you're gonna be your wife.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
That's just, what I mean.
I understand what you're saying.
You're rebounding almost at this point.
Yeah.
You're just filling in the void. You're filling in the blanks right now. You're trying not to be so. Remember, I was telling you about depressed, hopeless, anxiety, fucking empty, all that shit. I'm just coming out of that.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So you're just having some kind of
companionship.
Contact.
Yeah, you're having companionship with somebody, and you're like, hey, all right, there you go.
And plus, you don't even believe in your fucking self yet, let alone think that some relationship is gonna happen.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
So you're just doing the do. You're just.
I'm gonna ask you, a heavy question. Did she end up becoming an addict by you giving her? I mean, because I'm imagining if you gave her some, you probably gave her more.
Oh yeah, and look, oh yes.
That's heavy, Gernot. That's heavy.
There's a lot of heavy.
We'll just cut to the chase. You and your wife are getting high. How do you get clean? We'll cut to that chase.
I have one last use, and when that happened, with the dynamics of where everything was at that time, it was basically I was gonna lose everything, her, the kids.
Oh shit!
It was gonna be over.
So it got that bad.
All it took was one. It was interesting. It was one last major hiccup. It was just a one-time major hiccup, and she said basically it was like, get your ass in here, stay in here, the house, get right. Maybe we'll salvage this, but if you walk out the door, it's a wrap.
So that ultimatum helped you get clean.
It put me in a position to make, right away I made the decision to stay. I didn't want to lose everything. And then it was one of the gnarliest come downs I've ever had.
Wow.
And I remember, well, this word, I say God came into play. As I'm sitting there and I'm going through this very, very discomforting crawl out of your skin, come down.
Yeah.
Because it was very raw. Like I said, there was not.
Can you describe it for the audience so they know exactly?
It was hot. It was uncomfortable. It was heart pounding. It was every layer, hour by hour, of wearing off to where your body ached, to where you wanted to rip your skin off. You wanted to pull your muscles out of your legs and arms because it was just, you were contained in a room with this much drugs in you, and you're coming down 100% naturally with no alcohol, no marijuana, no pills, no nothing, just 100%, and with the thoughts that come along with it. with the heat, with the withdrawal. I mean,
That must have been tough, Gernot.
it was fucking brutal, and but then the guilt starts to kick in. You know, like, well, fuck, you did it again.
Yeah.
You went, you did it again, and how you gonna fix this one? But the fucking answer came. This is where I say, God, the answer came. You know what to do. You know what to do. You can make this your best mistake. Get into recovery. Put this behind you. Do the right thing. Stick with it. And as long as you fucking do the right thing every day, this will get further and further behind you. And if you continue that, one day you can say that that was your best mistake.
Wow.
And that's where we're at. Wow. My last hiccup was my best fucking hiccup. Because that's the one where I made the decision
to get clean.
To get clean.
And how long you been clean again?
6 years, 4 months.
Congratulations, Gernot. I'm proud of you, homie.
Thank you.
You keep that up.
Absolutely.
You've been clean now, we're here today. You've been clean for over 6 years, which is an accomplishment, brother. Now, let me ask you, if there was a young person who was even interested or maybe even thinking about getting high with any sort of drug, I would like you to look in that camera and tell them, what would you tell them?
I would tell you to like stop, think, pause about what you're really gonna do, and if you just knew what the potential outcome would be, which is any part of that hopelessness, that misery, the darkness, the downfall, the downslide, the negative of what you're about to do, I just hope you would think twice. But beyond that, I just would tell you that you're worth it. You have more value to yourself. You're worth more than the decision you're about to make. You're worth saying no. You're worth going the other direction. You don't need to do that. It's no benefit to it. Focusing on you because you're worth it is where it's at. Learning how to go in the opposite direction and get through whatever it is, the right way, is so much more powerful and beneficial to you. And you have the ability, and you have it in you to make the right choice. And if you can harness the power of the right decision right now before you make that other decision, that would be in your best interest, I highly suggest that you take that. That's what I would tell you.
Wow, thank you. Now, one last question before we wrap up. If you could go back in time and you could speak to your younger self, what would you tell yourself, Gernot?
I would tell myself that you're fine just the way you are. You have nothing to prove. Just be you. Be easy on yourself. Don't take life so seriously. You're fine just the way you are.
Would you like to leave a final message to your wife and kids? Because I'm sure they're going to see this.
Forever today, I just want to say that I'm grateful and I'm thankful for you guys. It's just been been an amazing ride so far, and it's been a lot of good memories and all the things that we've been through and experienced together. I'm just grateful for them, and you know how much I love you, babe, and where I'm at with you and kids. You know where Daddy sits, and you know how much Daddy loves you, and like the future is bright. And every time I've told you guys before that, the future is bright. We're living in that bright future now. And things are only gonna get better, and by the grace of God and through the presence of us as a family, we're only gonna grow stronger and have even better times. I love you guys.
Where can people find you on your social media and give you a follow to keep up with you?
They can follow me at Commitment Soldier, at Commitment Soldier on IG, Frank Hernandez or Commitment Soldier on Facebook, or you can email me at commitmentsoldier@gmail.com.
You are doing some great things in the community. I want to touch on that a little bit just real quick before we end. You're doing some great things in the community. I know you do like outreaches, you go to different events, and I strongly urge you, gente, support this man. This man has actually helped me already in my life, which you don't know about. And, he's a good man. Support him, gente. Support him. Follow him. I know you had your first, I think it was your first Christmas toy drive or something like that. Did you have that?
That was last year.
Last year.
We're having our second, this December 16th in the city of Downey. We're going to have our second annual toy drive. You can look at my Commitment Soldier page, look at the flyer, and just bring all your family and friends, and bring as many kids as you can, because that's something that we throw specially for the kids, for the families, for that old school, genuine holiday Christmas spirit. So if you guys want to have a good time and you want it to be a wholesome, good time for children to come out and get some toys, it's to receive toys. If you don't have any children, you just want to participate and come bring some toys, that's also welcome. But
I commend you, Karna, because you're doing a lot of things for the community. Keep it up. Us at Barrio Driven, we support you. We love you, Karna. I'm grateful for you. Thank you for being on the show today. God bless you. Keep keeping on, Karna, okay?
Yeah.
This is Barrio Driven.